incredible World Arabian Conference. We're live at the magnificent Four Seasons Hotel in the heart of Marrakesh, just next door to the Royal Palace here. And we've got just look around. We have delegates from 86 countries, nearly 500 people who've flown in from around the world. Yesterday was a marvelous opening day, but we're going to kick off day 2 with the first of 3 sessions. We're going to be talking all about social media, marketing, television, and we have a star-studded lineup. I'm going to ask them all to introduce themselves and just tell us exactly what they do, where they're from, and what they're looking forward to today. Let's start with you.
Well, I'm Esra Shimmery from Yas TV. I have my own TV show, documentary show about horses, Hfuz Show. I produce, direct, and present the show. And I would like to welcome everyone here. And if you allow me to speak in Arabic a bit.
I'd like, in the beginning, to extend a warm welcome to His Highness Sheikh Mansoor bin Zayed, and to all those of us, I'd like to extend sincere and heartfelt thanks to Royal Highness Sheikh Mubaraka bin. And this is the reason why we are here. And last but not least, I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to really distinguished person, really participating in the Mansoor Festival right from the beginning. The support to youth and to really Salar Sawaya.
Editor of a quarterly magazine called Arabian Horse Spirit, which is dedicated to Arabian horse in general and with a focus on the racing horse, of course.
Sounds good. What about you, sir?
I'm John Cobb. I'm Associate Editor of the Racing Post, based in London, but covering racing worldwide. Been a racing journalist for 35 years, but aiming now to use that experience to broaden interest in Arabian horse racing and the Sheikh Mansour Festival.
Sir, what about you?
I'm Issam Said from Sudan. I'm a journalist. I joined the festival since the beginning. Also, I make analysis for the horse racing in the TV.
Lovely. Sir?
Yeah. Jean-Claude Aliès from France, just in charge of developing partnerships worldwide for the Paris Turf Group.
Wonderful. And Victoria?
Tomo, hi there. I'm Victoria Shaw from Australia. I'm Australia's only female race caller, and I'm also a freelance racing writer as well.
Super. Sir?
Mansoor من تونس.
Zayed from Tunisia. I'm journalist and chronicler. And I have a magazine that is labeled Maktab Fola, and I've written extensive articles and...
Comes from Sweden?
Yes, I do. My name is Matt Skenberg, publisher of Gallop magazine, global horse racing magazine, and in my daytime job, I work with social media strategy and marketing communications for a number of large companies.
Let's start with social media, because we all do it. Well, many of us do. The majority of the world seems to be on it. John Cobb, how important is social media? But what about the dangers as well?
Well, it's vastly important. Nearly everybody carries a smartphone around with them now, and it's a fantastic opportunity for organizations, including the Sheikh Mansour Festival or the various Arab racing organizations in each individual country, to advertise to a huge audience what they do. For individuals, whether you're a trainer or a jockey as well, it's a great way to let the world know what you're up to. But there are risks as well, in that you're having a communication with people, and that may attract unwanted attention as well. So it's important, particularly for individuals, to know how best to control that environment.
Matt, you earn your living basically out of social media. How important is it to you? You look after some of the big firms. You look after, what, Mercedes in Scandinavia. What do you do for people like that? And how do you make money for them? And how do you make them interested? And how do you get people to look at it?
That was not one question, that was about 4, but never mind. I started working with social media commercial in 2009. I think there are 2 aspects of it. One is what it started with, as, you know, getting followers, reaching people, so to speak, all over, and having a dialogue with them. And because, I mean, many corporations and organizations have been lacking in that. You know, it's been a one-way communication. They've been telling people, watch this, see us. All of a sudden, it was a two-way street, which gave organizations the opportunity of actually hearing what their customers or their customer base thought about them, and also made it possible for them to actually create their own tone of voice. I work a lot with Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes has had a reputation of being a little posh, you know, exclusive, a little snobbish. What we did in social media was try to totally change that. You know, whenever somebody posted a picture of their old Mercedes, we would go in there and say, great job, you know, talk to them. But what has changed over the years is that social media today is no longer only social media. It is also media as such. Facebook is the world's most visited website. So it is also an advertising tool, and it needs to be treated as an advertising tool with regards to the characters of the media.
Which is bringing us to purebred Arabian horses, whether it's an endurance. How can we use this? Can I just ask you, Victoria, you're on social media. Do you find that good, or do you have problems?
It's good and it's bad, and how do we move forward? And particularly from the discussion today, what can we all take with this to improve the awareness of purebred Arabian, which is first and foremost? Some of the capacities I work in, I had a recent unfortunate situation. I'm live on air. I actually call regularly greyhound racing in Australia, which is actually broadcast overseas. So I could have an audience in Hong Kong, South Africa, Macau, Singapore, New Zealand, so well into the millions. And after I actually called a race, I came off air and my phone beeped about 35 seconds, and there's another person in the broadcast unit that would message me if there was a problem with correct weight or these information that we must convey on air. And I looked at it, and I'm going to apologise to everyone in the room for the language, but it was a request from someone. I've just come off air on an international live race call, and someone has messaged me and said, "How about a tit pic?" I nearly died.
Absolutely.
And it is further evidence that people need to be monitoring. And perhaps the broader question too to Matt's, outlets such as Facebook and the other social media channels, they're not stepping up and taking any responsibility.
This is true.
As a broadcast outlet, how do we challenge them about these issues that continually arise, particularly for women?
Agreed entirely. Matt, is there anything we can do? Because the people who run these organisations seem to let anything go.
Well, the thing that you must understand is that they do not consider themselves as publishers. When you create a page, you are the publisher using their tool. Yeah. So that has to be really, you know, taken into consideration. You have to be able to monitor and to see what is said, and to block and to comment and so on. In my country, there's a huge debate all over at the moment about the responsibilities of the companies as such, and I think they are looking more into it. But it is up to each and every one of us who manage a page or something to actually be the monitors. We are the editors.
Yeah, but it's not easy sometimes. How do you deal with social media?
Actually, whether some people like it or not, social media is life right now. So we need, what I face as a problem is like in the media, with horses and media, the followers are much less than any other field. Not so many people are interested about horses. So we need to attract the people who are not in that field by cutting the episodes and cutting it to only 1 minute, for example, making interesting clips for people to start liking this field, you know what I mean? At the same time, if you are asking me if it's important or not, of course it's important. Yeah, not everyone can watch the TV. Everyone can watch their phones, but not the TV.
Virginia, how do you use social media to help support your magazine?
Well, we've got a page for the magazine only, and it's only about the magazine and the horses. So whenever there is an event, because it's a quarterly, So we are not that much into the everyday racing. So we just organize so that people are aware of what's happening, and we advertise of what they're going to read in the future, right now, before the publication.
John, you publish every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. But at the same time, you're publishing the following morning. So how important is social media to you in the Racing Post?
Well, we do publish a paper publication which people access the next day, but more and more so we're geared up to instant publishing. When an event happens, we're posting something on Twitter, we're sending out push messages. A really important event happens, you send a push message to say a big event has happened, so wherever you are, your phone will go off and tell you that something big has happened. But just coming back to the point that Isra was making so eloquently before, is that you have to almost ignore any insults and just concentrate on the message that you're going to put out. You know, Tomo, you've got a huge following on Twitter. You've got about 34,000 followers, and I'm sure not everybody is praising you the whole time for your brilliant broadcasting. I'm sure you get some criticism. And for example, yesterday we had Richard Mullen talking about when you're a jockey, you're out there on the course, you're very alone, and it's quite difficult for jockeys to maybe ignore some of the criticism that comes their way. There are a lot of armchair jockeys out there who can tell them how to ride better, that they've lost a race that they should have won. There are plenty of armchair broadcasters who can tell you that you've broadcast badly.
There's plenty of them. It's lovely.
But the thing to do is just to ignore
Yes,
a lot of that,
you have to.
or also to block them, to exclude them,
Yeah.
and to be very careful who you're communicating with. If people are following you that you don't want following you, you make sure you block them early on. They're going to exploit you.
You grew up, I've known you for 30 years. You're one of the top racing journalists in the world. You love your racing. How much do you use the social media to help with your newspaper and your appearances on Yes TV as a television expert, a racing expert?
In the beginning, I would like to thank His Royal Highness Sheikh Mansoor really for the support that is ongoing, and when we were working, when we were discussing Arabian horses, and so I would like really to talk about my relevant experience in the field with horses. Right from the beginning of my experience, but from my perspective, and the success really in sports, because really Arab horses have become an industry, and this is really the world of horses really is quite important, particularly the writing on Arabian horses, and so really I started writing on horses and in newspapers and on horses that won prizes, and also I started also writing on horse breeds and different breeds, and so conveying this really this information in the form of a picture. Really, people did not know quite a lot about the racing. I do think there is need to really, we can attract quite a lot of audiences through the writings and that we make, and because this is a very sport that is very interesting.
Well, I'd like to bring in the gentleman, you're the journalist of the newspapers, Le Monde from Tunisia at the end. Yes. Tell us about your product. How many does it sell? How do you use social media on the telephone to promote your product?
Dear Tom, before responding to this question, I'd like to answer quickly about the history of media coverage for Arabian pure blood horses. When I was 26, I was the youngest of the classroom. Now I'm the eldest person here, and things have been changing a lot. At the beginning, The Arabian horses races were very limited. There were a little bit of races in Tunisia and Poland. We have a long tradition of Arabian horses races. And when we started writing about those horses, we were despised by professionals of English purebloods, and we were considered as a folklore races in the 80s. And then it evolved with the arrival of the owners and breeders of the Middle East and the Emirates in particular, who gave many investments and relaunched breeding of Arabian horses. And then information followed, and the media gave more importance to Arabian horses at that time. And now purebred horses have gained a lot of esteem amongst the media and draw more attention, and this has led to the creation of several magazines and newspapers, and now it's amazing. We brought a really new momentum to information thanks to that, and we can see that in the media there are many problems with regard to the management of newspapers, with regard to the management of magazines. People responsible are under pressure. They find it very difficult to meet their budget, and so Arabian horses brought new blood, so to speak, to those media. And the great revolution was that IT was also quite interesting, and this leads me back to your questions. This is why I decided to develop an online magazine, because I can directly talk to the public, and I can have up to 30,000, 40,000 followers who are really following those races very cautiously. And I'm cold. People tell me whenever the information is not coming ASAP. People want information immediately. They want the videos, they want the images, and I heard some discussions with control of comments. I strictly control any comments. If there are some negative, degrading comments, I remove them immediately.
Very interesting comments. One of the earlier points you said, when you joined at the age of 26, you were the youngest in the class. You're now 36, so you're not as young as you used to be. But how do we draw in those 26-year-olds? How do we draw in the 16-year-olds? You know, when we were young, we got, wow, this racing is good, we love it. How do we bring in the younger generation?
Well, that's what I mentioned in the beginning. Social media is life now, even though some of the old people don't like it. But because we don't have time like before to sit with the family, watch the TV in the same time and stuff. Everyone is busy. The easiest way is to go on the phone and check what's going on. Even if you're not interested about that topic, you will see it in your feedback, you know. Making interesting clips that's not so in details, not like how trainers like it, not like how riders like it. Something to do with picture, with all, just to bring them onto this society, and then you can teach them more about it. I agree with John about ignoring the negativity and only spreading positive vibes. Also, I would love to mention social media today can correct the wrong ideas with people's heads about something specific. For example, now I'm traveling all around and I'm showing Marrakesh and Morocco all and all. Everyone is so interested about seeing Marrakesh. They didn't have the chance to see it. They don't know how is it possible to be there, you know? Everyone's asking, where is this, where is that? We should visit it. This is what the importance of social media.
You know, you're spot on. I went to the Casbah last night, and it's something like you've never seen before. It was, you know, there was a record, Rock the Casbah. I tell you what, they were rocking the Casbah last night. It's a very, very good call. John, come in on that point.
Well, it's right, so right, that what she can do, for example, connecting with younger people. So she makes a post that is saying, I'm here in Marrakesh, I'm here at the Sheikh Mansour festival. Yes. Here's a picture of me there. Here's a video clip of what we've been doing. And here, by the way, then, is what other people are doing, whether it's Virginie's beautiful magazine. She can publicize Arabian racing generally in the Sheikh Mansour festival and whatever by dragging people along, by inviting them into her world and saying, this is me doing that, and then giving them instant, whether it's pictures, whether it's audio clip, video clip. It's a great way to bring other people in.
Matt, tell us more. How do we do this?
I think the lady from Yas TV is really, really onto something. Because what a lot of people tend to believe is that, you know, let's say you have 50,000 followers, you post something, then you think that 50,000 people will read it. That is not the case. The average, what they call organic spread, that is, if you do not pay to have it, is 6 to 8% of your followers will actually see it. Okay. So what you need to do is to, first of all, create content that attracts them. And that is probably not a picture of a horse running past a finish line or a jockey or a trainer saying something of the kind that they always say. It's finding the different angle. Yes. It's finding, there are algorithms for that, but that is where the creativity comes in.
It's true. So, everybody here, you've all got your phones on, haven't you? Anybody watching around the world, we're live on Yes TV, we're live on the Sheikh Mansoor Festival. Now, who is taking photos? Obviously, you've got your phones on, but you're off. Now, you could take a photo of all of us, but that looks like people sitting on a stage, and, you know, we're not saying anything. So if anybody produces, I beg your pardon, Laura? They're having the day off, absolutely. No, they don't. But anybody who's got that, Matt?
I have an idea.
What?
Why don't everybody in the audience take up their camera, take a photo of us here, yes, and someone of us takes a picture of all of you taking a picture.
Exactly.
I can assure you that will create a little bit of spread.
What a good idea.
So who is going to take the picture of the people taking the picture?
That's people taking the picture of the people taking the picture, taking the picture.
It's a meta photo. So here we go.
Come on. Matt is going to take one. So everybody, come on. Let's all get your cameras out. Everybody get your cameras out. And try and do something different.
Everybody.
Come on. We'll give you a prize.
Everybody please in front.
Come on, let's do it. We're going to take a photo of you taking a photo of your photo. All right. And look, you've got them going. They're standing up. Yes. And if anybody's watching around the world and you see the photos that we're taking of the photos of the photos of the photos, send a photo back to us so we can show the photos of the photos, whatever. All right.
Wait a minute, I'm going to do video as well.
Yeah.
Okay, keep photographing.
Go.
Okay.
So give us a wave.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Stand up, everybody. Take a picture.
Come on, everybody stand up. Yes, this is getting movement. We love it. So this is going to get a reaction, we hope. And if you get this around the world, send it back to us, Sheikh Mansoor Festival. Please do it. Hashtag HH. Hang on 1 second. Lara's here. Lara, come forward. Tell us where to send it to. We're live here at the Four Seasons. Where we're going to send it to.
Hashtag HHSHMGARF.
Just repeat that slowly so everybody's got it.
You know it. Most of them. HHSHGMARF.
When you get this around the world, send it back.
No, hashtag Sheikh Mansoor Festival. Just write it all of it.
That is great. Well done. Good stuff. And you were a few minutes late, by the way. Anyway.
Merci à tous. Wow.
Oh my God, she's not going to
Someone shouldn't have said that.
Thank you.
I have an excuse, guys. You know that Aneta broke her hand yesterday and she's in hospital and she did an operation. You didn't go and say hello to Aneta. Now take a picture and post Tomo.
I love it. Well said. Tomo put in his place, well and true. And we hope she's all right, by the way. She was getting into a car and she slipped and she broke her wrist. So she fell on the steps. So anyway, so be careful on the steps, otherwise you could. Well, that was terrific. We've all enjoyed that. We've had a bit of fun. I tell you, JC, how popular is it in your world, in the Paris Turf, which is the racing post of France, and excuse me saying that, how important is social media in your business, and what does it do for you?
Well, the thing is, we've got to realize that the landscape, the media landscape has changed, over the last few years completely. And things goes very, very quickly. Before, people were watching, movies, on the screen, on TV screen. Now they watch, the replays on the computer, and then it goes, the website is there, and then the smartphones is getting up more and more in Africa countries and everywhere in the world. So the social media, the thing is, it has some pervert, effects and aspects as well. Because, information, what Monda said just before, information, you're right, on the social media, whether Twitter or Facebook, it goes, straight, it's spread, to the worldwide. And you've got to control, the information So it's a bit like the internet. The internet at the beginning, you can find everything you want. You're at home, you find something. And you reach, some websites that you shouldn't go on or whatever. And then on the social media, the Facebook pages or the Twitter, 140 signs, you say things and people just, they just plug into the thing and they just retweet it. But the thing is, it changes as well, the aspect of being a journalist, because everybody can be a journalist at that stage. Yes, if you're down the street, let's say you were in Paris lately, if you just catch, the right image at the right moment and you send it to BFM, you're a journalist.
It is true.
Or you're a pseudo-journalist.
And I think you agree with me that I get more information from social media than I do from anywhere else, from somebody phoning me or whatever. And it is virtually instant from around the world.
And the thing is, if you can't do without it. If you don't do it, people will do it, at your place. So you need to take this place, and the Facebook page for PariTurf is very important.
Agreed.
I got the demand, lately from a harness, part of in Italy, and she wanted to communicate on the Facebook page of PariTurf more than in a print.
Wonderful. It's a lovely way to get reaction.
It has, yeah.
And JC, can I just say, he has brought something. We're talking about social media. The TV coverage as well. Everything apart from, as you said, we don't sit down with our family anymore and switch on in the evening. We're all on social media. But how do we make racing more important, more energetic for people perhaps who might not be interested in purebred Arabian racing? JC has brought a very interesting video about the future that is now. Check out the big screens and let me know your thoughts on this. Wow. JC,
Bravo.
Tell us more.
Okay.
Lovely.
I won't be long. Lately, the PariTurf group, launched a horse tracking system, whether for racing or training as well. For racing, the point was, to draw the attention of people and attract, the new audiences, because we've realized, well, in the industry, it's very, very, very difficult, to understand, a race card for a person, who's never been into horse racing before. And on screen as well, it's very difficult for a person, to follow his horse, during the race. So by just, putting ahead, some key markers, or the silk, or entering, a key marker, on a little thing on the horse, on top of the horse you've seen, people get more interested into the race. And the good thing is, for the racetrack as well, you can have, 70 key markers, reliable, key markers on the average speed, the speed at the starting gates, you got a lot of key markers. This is for racing, I mean, the racing aspects. And then you've got the training aspects. That's for professionals, for trainers. It controls, I mean, the cardio and all of this. And
Sure.
that's a captor, I mean, on saddle clothes, yeah.
What's your immediate reaction to that? I mean, you've seen this being evolved. It's now here.
It's brilliant, and there are similar things being evolved in Britain as well, and it's really important because we're competing against every other sport. So when you watch a football match, and every player can now be monitored to see how many yards they run during the match, how many passes they make, how many tackles they make, customers expect that kind of level of information. So to be able to provide this and to simplify the sport so that when people are watching a race, they can much more easily identify not only which is their horse, but the speed that the horse is running at is essential. We're competing with every other sport. We've got to step up our game.
Can I ask the people here, who are all experts in their own field and all obviously enjoying and love purebred Arabian racing, this is an incredible... I noticed that quite a few people applauding after that. I'd like to ask a straw poll question, hands in the air if you think this is right. Do you think this is a good idea? Hands up if you think it's a good idea. Now, what do we think? Well, there's quite a few hands, and Lara's sort of half thinking about it. Not many people in the front row. What are your thoughts as a TV producer? You see things like... You do like it, yes? Yes, absolutely. Dan as well. So we're going to get it live at Abu Dhabi Racecourse. As a TV, what do you think of that?
Actually, we have that in the endurance races in the UAE. So basically, when you are in the race and as a reporter, as a journalist, as anything, a trainer, a rider, you want to know what's going on with the other horses in the race, and you're not going to go and watch a TV to see that, you know? And you can't just go ask people. It's very hard. You just get your phone out of your pocket, check what's going on with the horses, the easiest way.
At the end, Sweden, what are your thoughts on that?
It's not only a good thing, I think it's an absolute necessity. If we go to classic racing countries such as Britain, we all see the old men with their binoculars. You get a young person going there, they don't really understand that they need to invest £300 in a good set of binoculars to be able to see what goes on. Because even if there's a Jumbotron, the Jumbotron will only show like the first 3-4 horses in the race. So this is a necessity because people going to racing, they don't understand what goes on. They see a number of horses and then all of a sudden someone won.
It's a very interesting point. You mentioned binoculars. Whenever I go to the races when I'm commentating, I take my binoculars, although I never use them because I do it all off the monitor. And yet you were saying, Victoria, that you use your binoculars because that's better for you when you're calling a race.
I do. There are some situations, a lot of my live broadcast with horse racing takes place in rural or country areas, and for me to rely on television feed, it would be inaccurate because quite often the tracks I'm working at, there are many trees in the middle, given the nature of Australia, where the horses will run behind the trees. Now, I might get a fleeting glimpse of a jockey's arm, so the colours are crucial to what we do and deliver. And there are times that the television coverage, there are TVs, cameras present at the track, but they're in different locations. And it's probably more habitual too that I rely upon myself. So there is a video rolling the whole time taking my live feed, and whether I be calling the race yourself or any other race caller, the stewards will always refer to the race broadcaster to match the vision. So they are relying on me at some point, but there are some very strange tracks that I work at where, of course, even the TV cameras can't quite work out what is going on. And I had a very funny situation where at one track I lost probably 700 metres of vision from a 1,200 metre event.
Oh, wonderful.
I kept up with them and the TV camera got lost. And we watched the vision in the replay. The cameraman zoomed in on what he thought was the leader, and then I watched the camera shake like this, furiously trying to find the leader. So
I love it.
There's some strange times like that.
Can I just say, you've brought someone from Australia, and I'd like him to just stand up and come and join us. And I hope he is in the audience, because this man has called the Melbourne Cup 37 times. He's the most famous commentator in Australia. Greg, come and join us. Greg Miles, come and join us. Give him a big round of applause. He is here. Greg, I was a little boy when I first started listening to you. What do you think of this?
It's fantastic. I'm obviously from a thoroughbred background, and I'm learning all the while and enjoying the seminars, and I'm taking it all in. So 36 Melbourne Cups, I've given it away now.
36 Melbourne. What was? I love talking it. You know, when we ever get the chance. What was the best? What was the one that got you going? The one that got the heart pumping?
Oh, I think I've been very fortunate that called some great Melbourne Cup winners, but I guess the one that is referred to more often than any is Mackay Diva's third Melbourne Cup in 2005. She'd won the two, clearly, and she kept getting better and better as she got older.
Can you still remember the words that you used as they came in? Just take us back. Come on, coming at the home straight, the Melbourne Cup, Mackay Diva. Go on, give us a go, go on.
Mackay Diva, here she comes, the great champion mare. She's raced up on her journeys, finishing quickly down the outside, but a champion becomes a legend. Mackay Diva's won it.
Go for it. Brilliant. Enjoy. Now, did anybody record that on social media and send it? Now, that is what you were talking about. That's what it's about. That would get people going. Absolutely. Now, who hasn't talked recently? You haven't talked. What do you think of that thing that we've just seen about the future of television? Do you like that? You're a big racing man. You're very traditional. Do you like all those things on the TV screen?
If indeed, I'd like to talk about the message and really the noble message that is conveyed through the Sheikh Mansour's festival, particularly, and particularly the horses, purebred horses, really. Purebred horses are the Arabian horses that are original and Burmese jerk. So the stallion Eclipse, really, which takes part in the horse racing in the UK. Its pedigree comes from Golden Theme, from the Golden Theme. From the beginning of this conference, I'm attending these activities, and the media and social media and the internet are available, and information can reach anybody in a very quick way, which was not possible in the past, because in the past we used to look for information in order to convey this.
Like social media, again, it's a very important thing, and I think all people should start using it for us to communicate with them. But I would like to mention something. Before putting anything in social media, you need to have a good content other than the people who are really in the racing interested in, other people are interested in. For example, we in Yas TV started making documentaries about things that's never been highlighted before. You know, going to the Jockey's room or seeing his social life, normal life. We went to the stables stuff to see how they're living their life, you know, how do they start their day.
Wow, that would be interesting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people from outside the racing who are not really interested about, for example, this horse or that trainer or so, will be interested at least in people's lives, you know. So again, we're pulling them to our society.
And how do you do that in the magazine world? How do you make people read your magazine? I read it this morning in my bed at 6 o'clock this morning. It was a wonderful way to start the day. But what do you put in your magazine to get people to open it?
First, we are working on a different time, because since we are quarterly, we got 2 months to think about the articles and get in depth in what we are going to deal. And because for us, horse racing is not just the races, but it's also the people around the races, the breeders, the trainers, the jockeys, and also all the people involved, veterinarians, journalists, race scholars. And that's why we try to give our readers is take time and think about how things are going. And we are telling stories, and we ask the people we interview to tell us how they work with horses and how they relate with horses.
And what I also was most impressed with were your photographs. The photos, we can all click, bang, bang, bang. But the photos that you've got are very special. They're important to the magazine.
They are important, and they are not just there to be there. They are part of the text. It's a whole, And we only work with people who have a passion. We are passionate people. All of us, we all have horses and we feel the horse. And whether we write or whether we take photos, it's what we try to convey to the readers. And we are fortunate to work with fantastic photographers like Claudia Dufay, who was an exercise trainer, a painter, and she's got a very special eye when she takes photos. And she's from Germany. And we work with a Finnish photographer who just thinks that horses are the most beautiful creatures in the world. And that's what we convey through the magazine.
I've just worked out while you're talking, while there's sort of a little crackle there, it's your earrings. I was wondering, would you mind taking your earrings off? John, have you taken your earrings off?
No, I left mine. I'll put them in for you tonight, possibly.
What are your thoughts about the importance of the photographers?
Well, I think the beauty there is that what Isra is saying and what Virginie is saying, they work so well together. So Isra wants to tell the very human stories of the stable staff and who have the daily contact with the horses. And if we hear the stories of people, then that's a great way of drawing in a new audience, because, let's face it, throughout the world generally, not many people have a daily contact with horses and a daily interest with horses. So Isra, by suggesting that you humanize things, you tell the stories of the jockeys, the owners, the trainers, and the stable staff, you bring in the audience. And then Virginie, once you have the audience, and once you've converted people to horse racing or to Arabian horse racing, you can then have, for example, your beautiful magazine lying around on a table, on a coffee table, for 2 months, 3 months at a time. And it's great to dip in and see the beautiful photographs.
Yes.
I would like to ask from John, for example, the usual TV shows, they would show John running a marathon, but they would never know what John is, how is his life, how is his contact with this marathon, how did he start this thing in the beginning, what was his story. I'm sure there's a story behind it. We should bring that story to make people who are not interested with marathon into this field, you know what I mean?
He ran the London Marathon, by the way, last week. So give him a big round of applause. And raise for what charity?
It's for a homeless charity in London, or throughout Britain, called St Mungo's. And I suppose the purpose, how it relates to this, is I managed to raise £8,000 from donations, but using largely social media to do so. So I trained, alone to run the marathon, but then you have to tell people that you're doing it. You have to say, this is why I'm doing it, because I want to help homeless people. And you have, even if you are quite shy and self-effacing, you have to say, here's a picture of me training, and now please give me some money, for homeless people.
I did.
You have to put it out there. But just to broaden things out, we did a great thing earlier where everybody took a photograph of everybody else. We should all try and post that in some form of social media to say we were all here. Yes. Everybody who is here should be following the Sheikh Mansoor Festival on Twitter, on Instagram. Should be following Lara on Instagram. She already has a huge following. But in order just to support each other, and we're all interested in Arabian horse racing. We want to know what everybody else in Arabian horse racing is doing and what the story is. So you start that way, you support the organisations within Arabian horse racing, and then you spread the word out from there. So it's supporting each other and then
Matt,
spreading.
at the end there, you publish a magazine, which I like, called Gallop. And wherever I am in the world, and I see it there, whether it's in the Business Lounge at Emirates or British Air, wherever it is around the world, it is an incredible read. Tell us more, because who was on the front cover last issue?
Sheikh Mohammed
bin
Rashid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm tying into what the two ladies said, that we have to understand that even if the people here, we're all involved in horse racing, but we must bear in mind that most people don't really know anything about horse racing. We're speaking to a gentleman from Paris Turf, and you'd say, go out on the streets of Paris and ask someone, tell me the name of a jockey, and they would go, and they wouldn't be able to tell anyone. Sure. Might be a little bit different in England. In Australia, it is different. Hong Kong also. But most people don't really know anything about horse racing. Our mission when we created Gallop magazine was to spread the word about horse racing in general, and then sneaking in Arabian racing among it, and spreading it to people who have not expressed any previous interest in horse racing. We're in the business class lounges of Emirates at Dubai Airport, British Airways in Hong Kong Airport, Singapore, and so on. We need to understand that the people we are aiming at, they're not interested in racing. We need to make them interested. So we need to tell stories.
How do we do that? Monda, how do you go online, you publish. How do you make certain people read what you put online?
I am online already because I have a large number of readers who follow and who share the website through Twitter. But I would like to come over something that is quite important. There are two categories of information in the racing. There is a pre and post racing. The pre-course is of interest to a large number of readers in America, in Asia, and even here in Morocco. The games, it's the games that fund and finances the races, and the large number of readers want information bringing to bear on the program of racing, on horses involved, on the performances of these horses, on the statistics of jockeys and trainers, and therefore really, and they want really the photo of arrival and the results, and this is quite important to highlight. And there is the second category of information that concerns and brings to bear after the racing, the analysis of the racing, comments, the interviews, most likely. And I divide my magazine in two categories. One category for really following the races in order to see the forecasts, and this is very important. This is highly followed. And then the second part is the commentaries and comments and pictures. And my magazine is developing really for the last 5 years, and I'm really every year I'm really gaining on readership.
Hear your enthusiasm as well for the sport, and I can see also why it is now so successful. Just getting back to the problems of this social media, we haven't even talked about actually racing on TV, which we would have done 10 years ago. Now we're talking about social media. That seems to be taking. How worried are you, say, for the young jockeys, John? The youngsters now are on social media. People are watching, they're betting, etc., etc. How worrying is it for the young jockeys who are putting things on social media?
Well, I think they have to be very careful about what they put up, and they've got to distinguish between their professional life and their personal life, and too many of them expose too much of their personal lives in a professional capacity. But the really worrying thing is that, and there's been lots of instances in Britain where people post very hurtful comments about jockeys or trainers and accuse them of corruption or incompetence. And quite a few jockeys have stepped back from social media. I know even Frankie Dettori now has, I think, about 20,000 followers on social media. But for a while there was a fake account running in Frankie's name, and so he closed his own account and withdrew from it entirely. And now he's back in that. But he also manages it as well. That he makes sure that he has somebody there to post things for him, and he does it in an extremely professional way. But there has been some recent cases in Britain where jockeys have been so badly affected by the hurtful remarks on social media that they've come out and said, look, we don't want to be part of this anymore.
That is true, and that is sad. But, I can understand why people do it. Richard Hughes, the former champion jockey, said, I'm not going on Twitter ever again, etc., etc. And we can understand why, because some of the things come. But you said, let it go over the top of your head. You've got to just take it.
I think well, so all the technology that is currently available isn't going to go away. We're not going to get back to a situation where between the sports professionals, whether they're trainers, owners, jockeys, and the public, there was a barrier before, or an intermediary, which is everybody along here, the journalists, broadcasters. We acted as a barrier. We filtered. So we talked to a jockey, we found out what they wanted to say, we broadcast it by one method or another. Now that barrier has gone. To a certain extent, we are no longer needed, but we were kind of a filtering process.
Never say that.
And well, one of the things I would say, very much so, is that that there is still that need for professional journalism and for professional PR, for example, to help organisations in particular to put their message across. There's nothing sadder than to pick up look at a website or to look at a Facebook page that's been neglected for a long time. Now, it could be that the organisations involved don't have enough time to populate that themselves, but it's a bit like having a conversation with somebody and they fall asleep. And it's almost as though sometimes the organisations have fallen asleep. I'm sure that would never happen to you because you wouldn't let it happen. So,
John, it's spot on. Victoria, you want to come in?
I have a question, actually. Perhaps I should direct it down to Matt's down the end here. Facebook, with their alleged foray into television that's forthcoming. Foray into television as a broadcasting mechanism. Are you across any of that, what their plans are? Well, I've only heard little bits, but I'm probably not hearing the whole picture. Is there any way that you can update us here today?
I'm sorry, just explain. I'm not hearing you too well. You're saying what?
Facebook are going to go into television broadcasting.
Yes.
And I'm not across entirely. I was wondering if Matt's had anything that he could update us, what their plans are, or if you know anything about that.
The one thing I can say is a good way of checking out what Facebook's plans are is to see what kind of posts get a lot of reaction, because the reaction you get on your posts is actually not only based on the quality of the post, but also because Facebook want to promote certain types of posts to create, coverage and good numbers. And when we had two brand new Mercedeses coming to a trade show in Sweden, and we just did a spur of the moment Facebook Live thing of them being unloaded, brand new models never seen before, of a trailer, and we had 200,000 views on that, and it was live. And it wasn't really because there was so much interest or the story was so good, but it was because Facebook wanted to promote live. And yes, I'm certain that in the same way as a lot of news outlets use their instant articles today to publish, it will also be, actually, I think, a TV network that will be used for a lot of broadcasting.
Agreed entirely. It's going to be the future. Without a doubt, it's coming. It has to.
It is there already.
It's there already. But what I'm saying, can I just mention, when Lara invited us to the endurance racing, which is one of the great sports, without a doubt, and there was this incredible sight of the finish, two riders going alongside, and we had Sheikh Mansoor driving in his car, shouting, "Go on," to his rider, and we had Sheikh Mohammed and Sheikh Hamdan, his son, in the other car, saying, "Go on," to his rider. That, for me, was one of the greatest sights I've ever seen.
Well, actually, I would love to talk about that. Maybe we don't have millions of followers on our Instagram and Snapchats, but we have a great support from our leaders, because these kind of sports, horses, camels, falcons, and sea, traditional sports that we would love to move it on to the generations, to the other smaller generations. This is why we're getting Sheikh Mansoor bin Zayed support, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid support, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed support. And this is a great spirit when you see your leader with you in the field, running with his car, going with the car, with their horses. What else can we ask for?
And it's interesting, we were talking earlier over a coffee and you were saying how much you love, I'm talking about my Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, and she's what, over 90, and she rides virtually every day.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? I mean, what a great leader. And it's the same in Abu Dhabi, the Middle East, absolutely superb. John?
Well, Tom, we shouldn't underestimate that, the power of the fact that Sheikh Mansour or the Queen, because they are interested in in horse racing.
Yes.
You know, that really conveys something about the image of horse racing. And you know, republics don't necessarily have that. We'll see who's going to be leading France in a few days' time. But they don't necessarily have that involvement. But we are very, very fortunate, both with Sheikh Mansoor, Sheikh Mohammed, and the Queen, to have that kind of involvement.
I
straight
agree.
From the very top.
And I love when we have the richest race in the world in November for Sheikh Mansoor to come and present the trophy. That would be front page around the world. Amazing. You know, it's super. By the way, we've got people here who are listening to all this, and some are perhaps saying, agreeing, some are disagreeing. Lara, come forward, because I can't, without your microphone. Just, what is it? Come on, because it's a big step. He is a Dubai racing analyst. Interest. He is a great analyst. Yes.
Yes, he is.
Exactly. So what should we ask him?
He's a great teacher. We learn from him.
Tell us about the analyst that you are on Dubai TV. Tell us how it goes and what makes it good.
In reality, can you tell us about your relevant experience in the field, in your capacity as an analyst? I have a question in Arabic. Today you are an analyst in Dubai TV, and particularly what is your relevant experience in your capacity as a person working in the TV? You are one of the most important TV analysts. What is this experience going to add to the new generations, particularly in terms of information and really STV has social media and talking to the youngsters and the youth, and you can make a really comment on the racing. What is your relevant experience at Dubai TV? And as far as I am concerned, I am an analyst for horse racing, Arabian horse, purebred. I started with the channel Abu Dhabi Sport, and our job is to provide information on the horses taking part in the races, and whether the horses are capable to cover the distances, and also the race course, whether it's appropriate or not, really whether it does have grass, and the starting gate is quite important, and whether there are really fences, and we need to cover all these aspects on the jockeys also, and on also we provide information on the results.
Say something with a reaction to that. What is it?
I'm going to speak in connection with this journalist whom I love. Really, I'm following you, and I can see you. You are my son. When I see you in winter, you make comments on horses, and really, I'm proud of you because you represent women, Emirati women more particularly, and you have covered quite a lot of distance with pride. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad that we have a worldwide audience watching Yas TV, and we're so happy to give you and give all the audience the information that you need and all the atmosphere in the UAE. Since UAE is now, like, let's say, #1 country in the world when it comes to endurance and to flat races all worldwide, we would love to also have some shows in English. We're studying that kind of programs, and I hope so in the future you can all understand, really not only watch, understand what's going on in the channel. Thank you very much.
Well said, that was good. The gentleman over here who put his hand up and wanted to say something. Sir, what is your question? What would you like to say? Of course in Arabic. Please stand and tell us who you are and where you're from.
Sultan Hosni from Oman. In the beginning, I would like to thank for the really the technical assistance that you have provided for conveying and broadcasting. There is the magazine, STV, Facebook and Twitter, and Dubai Racing and Facebook and Twitter. And I would like, gentleman is shifting to English.
My question, كما تعلمون.
Question is, as you know, is that mass media today really are capable to play mass media play like a snake that are seeking to catch a fish, and it's the very same snake. And some journalists really try to be different in order to become known, and really, and there is no transparency. And in the beginning, really, these journalists really do not really feel comfortable. What is there are some really there are horses that cover the distance, and there is photo finish, and so we see that another horse has covered, and this and we resort to the photo finish in order to really. Does anybody wish to?
Please do. Come on.
Well, there is a difference in analyzing a race event, particularly on a daily basis, on television particularly. And we are saying that one horse has been the winner of the event, and perhaps another horse might have won. And so if this person was not available in the race and course, and even the public really and the photo finish shows the neck of the horse, and if the question really the question is a little bit strange for me, and why our duty is to explain to the audience, particularly how the race started, how it finished, and we try to analyze this really. We try to analyze this, and if from distant corners, sometimes the photos are important, and so these horses are running a distance of 2,000 meters, and during the race you can see how the horses are operating, and front horses particularly, and those. And particularly with the distances that require quite a lot of tactics and techniques, and it is possible for the 9 horses during this race. Horses are under pressure during this distance that they have to cover. And one of the horses might feel comfortable, and so it responds positively to the injunctions of the jockey, and then you may we need not exaggerate. We need to avoid exaggerations. Thank you.
Le magazine marocain.
The Moroccan magazine.
The magazine has prepared a special issue about the conference that will be circulated freely on Sunday for the inauguration of this new racing track. So I'm really happy to show you this magazine with a very beautiful picture of Lara with a smile on her face, as usual. Wonderful.
Okay.
We have a question coming in. Mena, would you like to stand and tell us your name, where are you from and everything?
Hi, but I'm sorry, I'm gonna talk in Arabic.
I'm talking about the social media, and really, it's a privilege to take part in this. I'm not a writer, but there are quite many people really that really to see an artist really that they are involved in sport activities, and we need to be really we need. I am really a passionate woman for horse racing, and I'm very happy to be here in this Sheikh Mansour's festival. And this is a privilege, particularly for the Emirati women, that they practice sports really subsequent to the support that is provided by the Emirates, and the women in the Emirates are being supported, and I'm very happy to present something to and offer something to sport activity, and also I'm working towards serving women in the Emirates and sport horse racing in the Emirates. Women need to be active in promoting this activity, and I would like to thank you because you have given me this opportunity to really provide information. Thank you.
Message coming in. Khalid.
Khalid al-Nabouda. I would like to thank the panel. Without them, we can't reach anywhere, and without them, they are normally carry our voice to high level, to our bosses, to our Sheikh, to our leaders. So without you, we can't reach anywhere. And I would like to thank Yas TV because I am one of the owner and breeder in the United Arab Emirates. And since this channel started, it's really show the world where we are and what we are doing in United Arab Emirates. I am really very proud with this channel, and I would like to thank all the panel. Thank you very much.
John, for saying that. Khalid, that's brilliant. Thank you. Sir, would you stand up?
Hi, I'm Satya, and I work for His Highness Sheikh Mansoor Festival. Since we're touching on social media, I feel the owners and trainers also have a huge role to play because they know their horses more than anyone else. And if they come with that extra information about maybe they bought the horse for hardly 20,000, or the little girl said today the horse is going to win, or some sort of such aspects which people like Isra are looking for. Because the normal racing journalists ask the serious questions of how the horse was trained, etc. But when the trainers and owners come out with this little bit of extra information, it is that which will catch the imagination of the non-serious spectators and bring them in. So we request the trainers and owners and also the racecourse people to come in with that little bit of extra information which will really help the social media gather more.
Thank you. Would you like to answer that?
No.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were waving.
Yeah.
No, I tell you what, can I just answer that? It's a very good point, that. We were at Chelmsford City Racecourse a week ago, and we're going live to Chelmsford City Racecourse in August for a big Group 1 race day. And before racing, Frankie Dettori turned up and Ryan Moore, and they rode in a gallop on two very, very good horses. And I was there. I always get there early, so I thought, great, I'll put it on my telephone and send it around the world. And Sir Michael Starr said, I'd rather you didn't. And this is a thing that we're up against a lot. A lot of trainers are very good. Francois Rojo, who trained the big winner in Toulouse 4 weeks ago, we were live on Yas TV. And I went straight in as the jockey was getting off. Francois, what was that like? I want to talk to my jockey. Okay, fine. But we're talking to 1 million people. So I won't go in again and ask Francois what his thoughts are, because he alienated me. And I don't think that... John, what are your thoughts?
Well, lots of thoughts there. First of all, to thank Satya, because this morning you were reading a magazine, Virginie's magazine in bed, and I was reading the email that Satya sent out very early this morning. He's clearly working through the night, that recorded everything that happened at the Sheikh Mansoor Festival yesterday. So he does a brilliant job in keeping us all informed with what's going on. So, you know, one, we shouldn't underestimate that, but of course he does make an extremely good point as well in that very often trainers and jockeys don't help us because they don't want to communicate, they don't want to be part of selling the sport as a whole. And I suppose we could ask this question to all the professionals here. When they employ a jockey, for example, do they expect that jockey to come back and tell them all the details of the race, because they're paying him, or are they happier for the jockey to talk to a broadcaster in order to convey the sport to a wider audience? Where do the obligations lie?
It's a very, very good point. We have two people with their hands up.
Okay.
You first.
Bon. Au niveau de l'information.
With regard to the information, the journalists are asking us, to the trainers and to the jockeys, some additional information before the race, but the tradition is quite understandable because there's the pressure from the owners, but generally trainers and jockeys and even the races code are not authorized to provide information, because otherwise it could be good or wrong information. So this is why they are being asked to be discreet. This is a must before the race. You can make comments after the race, but before it's very hard to say, okay, I am going to win, or I have the best chances in the pack. You don't have the right to do that.
I support Satya.
Stop eating the nuts that are on the table. He's nipping all the nuts. Are they good nuts?
Great nuts.
Well done.
Derek. Satya is really onto something here, because this part of media, if we talk social media, it's all about passion. If it doesn't have passion, it doesn't work. So when he talks about little bits of information, it doesn't have to be information that can, give you an idea about what horse will win or anything. It could just be information about, could be a photo of, this horse likes to eat tomatoes in the morning before a race. And that's a great picture of a horse eating a tomato or an apple or whatever it is. Those little things, everybody who's involved in a horse must understand that they are also part of the horse's management team. And if they want to create a star, everybody has to help. Race courses the same. Race courses have a tendency of either not informing at all or over-informing. There are some race courses, I get press releases from them every second day with analysis of 10 races.
Do you read it?
No, never.
No, boring.
Do you?
Always.
Me.
Always. We have
Derek?
another question here. Sorry to keep it going, but carry on.
Oh, thank you, Derek. I want to talk in Arabic. It's easier for me. I'm Shahir Idris.
I'm Shahid Idris from Future TV. I'm invited for the first time to His Highness Sheikh Mansour's festival, and so I'm taking part for the first time for this very important conference. I've been working in politics for the last 25 years, and my experience in horses is the first of its kind. But then the relationship holding with television and social media indeed are very quick to provide information. And this experience, for the first time, I see a TV program or seeing a person presenting a TV program live, particularly with regard to this is a very important experience, and this is the world of TV today that I am seeking to have. And if we want to communicate and convey a message through TV, and Hassan Musabbi really has talked humanely about horses, and these really issues of the world of horses. These are the very things that really need to be disseminated, not only through television but through social media as well. Social media are important, but we feel that in the the world is really is changing. But this we need to get to know really about the world of horses, and not necessarily just focus on politics. And this is very beautiful. I would like to thank you for giving me this chance to take part in this landmark event, and I'm very happy to take part in this conference. Thank you.
Just quickly, we have this lady has been waiting for a long time.
I too come from Lebanon. I have been attending this. We have become one family, and so I focus on information in connection with women, gender, politics, but readership in Lebanon really through this festival have been able to get information, and so quite a lot of links and relations have been built, and I write really on this festival all along the year, and really this festival draws quite a lot of people, not only from the political sphere, but also from the horse racing sphere. We have with Facebook really we realize that Facebook is quite important, and electronic media really is gaining more ground, and particularly with regard to information, there are no borders, and the reader has now really is open on electronic media, and so the electronic media is gaining more ground, and so it's really all Arab countries need to emulate the work that is shouldered and has been done by the Emirates in the field, really, and would like to pay tribute to the Emirati women, because I see that the women in the Emirates shoulder a pioneering role, and I am very happy. It is also pride for me, and so really, and this.
Lovely comment. I've got Laura King here. Laura, stand up, please.
Yeah, I've got a question for the panel, and I want to refer to the graphics package that we saw, the data and everything, which is very valuable. I think it's fantastic. But I just want to know if you think that there's a danger that in covering races with graphics, with technical information, we're covering up what is essentially a beautiful sport. Could we actually be alienating people by covering up the beauty of the horses, the drama of the finish, by technical information that could just blow people's minds? Are we going to sort of stop people getting into racing because they look at that and go, oh, what is all that? It's too much to comprehend.
That actually is a very, very good point. Is it going to spoil the beauty of what we're going? Matt's at the end.
Well, since we are not getting any people into racing doing what we have been doing for the last years, we need to try something else.
Oh, what an answer. He hits the ball back over the net. We have another question coming in.
Hi. Xavier Ziani, Jockey in UAE. I have a question for the panel, for people who works in the social media. We are facing in Europe with problem like there is no more people on the race course, on a race day, because you can play from the house, from the betting shops. So do you have any idea we can suggest to promote the race course and to attract more people at the races? I think with all this new technology and all the social media you are using, do you have any idea how we could bring more people to be at the races? Like, I believe Lara did something good this week. She brings someone from the Emirates, a very famous lady who's having more than 5 million followers. So this will improve it will show to the people our festival, and our leaders, we are lucky in UAE, our leaders following the races, so it's attracting people. But in Europe, the leaders, they don't follow the races. I mean, not all. So we are really facing problem, jockeys, to have people at the races. Do you guys have any idea how we could improve this with the social media?
Good question. We got that Swedish guy at the end, and you two at the end.
Voilà.
Yes, please.
Effectivement.
Indeed. In France, more particularly, when there are races and bringing the public closer to the races, and so there are people have smartphone at home or in the office, but this has really emptied the race courses of people, and so really race courses really make money only on some exceptional days with exceptional events, and this is a concern, not necessarily in France. I'd like to really, I'm attending an international forum whereby we get the representative of races, horses, race courses all throughout the world are represented. There is a problem of public because the public is aging really, and we are seeking to bring a maximum of youth, and so everyone has ideas about ways and means how to promote, and this is a very important issue.
The thing is that we need, the racing industry needs more races than the racegoers do. And I think basically we have to accept that some race days are mainly for a televised or betting product, and then focus on attracting people to a limited number of race days, because it will be impossible in today's stressful environment with demands of everything to get people to spend a Tuesday afternoon at a race course. So you need to really, I think, focus on a limited number of days and making them really good, and letting the other races be bread and butter.
It's very interesting you say that. Can I just come in on this? Just 1 second. We're racing, you're talking about Malmo, a race course. And I'm not name dropping in any way, but I was talking to Benny Anderson out of ABBA the other day, who is a great racing man. And I said, Benny, I'm coming to Malmo in a few weeks' time. I said, are you coming? And he said, no, because I find it the most boring race course. But that was just a personal point of view. He would still go racing. But I think the excitement on the track, I think the atmosphere is what a lot of people want, which you get at the big meetings. Lara.
Maybe answer for Xavier and Mats and Munder. The racetrack needs to come up with ideas.
Of course.
They themselves do not want to do their job. It's the problem with the racetrack who's only concerned of doing money in the betting shops, but they're not really concerned of getting people and the crowd to their own racetrack. What is great with the festival of Sheikh Mansoor is because we have social influencers. Yes, this is our new trend. Maybe we are everywhere, but we have used the new trend of the media, and we dared to go, and we challenged ourselves that it might succeed or it might not succeed. We only tried it as a beginning, and we found out that there are lots of great people that know nothing about the festival. Now you have our influencer, social influencer, Lojan Amran, who has 5.3 million followers. And suddenly everybody knows who are close or not close to racing. Now they get to know what is a horse race, what is an Arabian horse, what the festival is doing for the others in the world. This is something that the world needs to come up, but you need to challenge yourself and come up with new ideas. That's why the festival is growing, no?
Absolutely spot on. Quick, 1 second. Sir, your question.
Okay, I would like
to answer that too.
Laura's absolutely right in that, if you have big figures who carry along the rest of the sport, they can draw in a much wider audience than we can. But lots of good speakers. Xavier, who clearly understands this issue as well, that in Europe, perhaps, it's a fading sport. But look, on Sunday we're going to a new race course. Yeah. So in Morocco the sport is growing to such an extent that they're building a new race course. We've got to separate the idea of people simply being interested in betting in Europe and say what a great experience going to the race course is. But we do that through, as you have done here, getting people involved who are outside the sport, bringing them into the sport. They have lots of followers. And with the young lady who spoke over there earlier, who said what a privilege it is to take part in social media and to talk about her interest in horse racing, that's fantastic as well. It means that everybody here is contributing rather than just the professional journalists as before. That's the way we do it.
We have a question coming in from the front row, sir.
Ahmed Zayed.
in connection with social media and I come from the world of football, and really, I come from the world of football, and so I don't know. I don't know anything about Jockey, and so really, Jockey's rights are not taken on board in really. The money that is gained after the races really goes to the owners and go to the stable. I don't know really any jockeys, and really I haven't seen any picture of a jockey featuring prominently in the, and so jockeys really are the really very important in any achievement, and so I'd like the social media. What is their role to highlight the importance of a jockey in as far as I do think you mass media play a fundamental role in providing information. I come from a family of football players, from Tunisian stock, and first thing that I incorporate in the social media is the first thing I incorporated in the social media. So all newspapers and magazines and or they focus on Jockey, and I really I know you, Ahmed, and you are a member in the International Academy of Horses, and
she was up, and these guys are going to get. Hang on. Brilliant.
So the first thing we start with is to interview the jockey right after the race, and so you need to understand one thing: horses that are trained have a major role to play, more than the jockey. So horses. Really, the jockey is able to train the horse, and so really, jockeys really they work, and so the jockeys really use the horse the day of the race, and so the trainer is going to provide information on the jockey on how to really ride the horse, really. And so the trainer has a major role to play. Like in football, really the trainer comes up with the tactics and really, and as well as the trainer. Hamd Al-Hamid from the Emirates. My question is floated to Dubai Racing. I hope that they will shoulder this. They hope to. They need to provide really information to the vets, to the owners of the horses, and to the trainers. And we hope that you will provide and give information on the programs.
That's a very good point. We've literally got one more. There's somebody over here. Everybody wants to talk. This is incredible. Just who is at the back? Sir, let's go quickly, then I'm coming to you. Sir, over to you. Have you got a microphone? No. It's the big guy, so big is better.
The question earlier was, what can an owner and trainer do to help social media? I think there's lots that we could do to promote the Arabian racing, and I want to kind of take my hat to what my brother did this last year in the States. Excuse me, Scott Powell. First of all, the third leg of the Triple Jewel, Richard Mullen came over there at Los Alamitos and rode Paddy's Day, and I was there with Richard, and he was getting interviewed by all the social media there and TV and everything, so I thought that was a big step for Arabian racing in America. And then they went to Churchill Downs. I'm sure everybody knows Calvin Borel. He rode Paddy's Day there, so that's another big step for Arabian racing to get the social media going. And then the great race at Santa Anita with Victor, I think that was promoted more people for Arabian racing, and so I think that the trainers and owners can do things if they think it out to help the social media.
Brilliant. I tell you what, I wish they were all like you and your family. They are outstanding. Yes, Jean-Claude.
Derek, I just wanted to react, on 3 points. The first one, to Xavier, just to attract people, on the racetracks. That's just my point of view. That's personal. The only thing is just to organize, an event, but not only horse racing, for the family to come. If you want to entertain, the children, the mother, and the father as well. You've got to do, Hong Kong did well on that. In Happy Valley, you've got some bands on the racetracks, you've got weather, McDonald's, and everybody is there, to party the thing, and they watch the race. And it has to be, a whole event, a whole day, whether you put some bands and everybody, can find, what they want. And then this is the way, you can attract people, get people interested into horse racing. That's the first thing. Second thing, I wanted to react on the person over there about, the performance of the horse and the view of the person, the journalist, writing the comment.
Est-ce que vous pourriez juste terminer, s'il vous plaît, votre...
Objectivity and subjectivity. And first of all, and the perception of the journalist, depending on the journalist, is different. And plus, if we were about to say that the horse, just won, by a neck, but very easily, the trainer will come afterwards and say, why did you say that? It's just a neck. And afterwards, the handicapper will put some more weight on it. So it's very delicate. And I wanted to answer, Laura's point as well on the video. That's just an add-on, Laura.
Yes.
It won't take, the job of a journalist or whatever, never. But it's just an add-on. So whether, people, can have it or not, but it's just a way, to attract, an audience, because at the moment, whether in a world, the horse racing industry stayed still until, the last few years. So we've got to move and to do something. That's the thing.
Final word from you, Mans.
I want to answer a question about jockeys not being very visible. Also the issue about jockeys on social media. Jockeys are the only individual top athletes who keep thinking that they can do everything themselves. They have an agent who books their rides. If you look at an actor's agent, a tennis player's agent, or a golfer's agent, they deal with journalists. They negotiate advertising deals. They do all those things. So all of you young riders here, I'm not expecting you to be able to go out and pay a lot of money to get someone. But by being first and saying, I need someone to help me with my marketing, that person could perhaps see this as a golden opportunity to find a whole new industry of people whom he can work with, or she can work with, because jockeys need it like every other athlete does. Only thing is they don't understand it yet.
Very good point. We have the very final question from this lady over here. Madam, would you please stand?
Hello, this is Deirdre Hyde, Abu Dhabi. It's more of a comment than a question, but I just would like to say that we mustn't forget we've talked about jockeys, we've talked about trainers, we've talked about owners. We haven't talked about the actual horses without which the racing wouldn't take place. And I think we need to do much more to make our horses our heroes, because that's what we really need.
absolutely spot on. And that,
Très à propos.
just quickly, guys, I'm being screened up because we've got to close everything down and reboot the whole system. So we have literally 1 minute, 30 seconds.
Actually, we have a live show every day, every race in the UAE with another programs that cover every single corner in the race. Horses is the main concept of the programs. No, even flat race, There's no recovery, but there's other programs. Yes.
Is for the endurance racing and not for the flat racing. There is recovery on both Dubai Racing and Yas TV, but there is no recovery for any flat race.
But can I ask you, before they start the race, the people
it's a program like the muhallilin, which are in the endurance race,
yes,
which talk all the day, but at the end, the most important thing is if you can see from 9 hours on TV, talking and analyzing, sometimes they get out of the way also. You also find that they are stick to a race. It's very short because it's half an hour or 20 minutes between one race to another, but there is no recap or there is nothing after this race to talk about the
So
horses.
you're asking for programs after that?
This is what Yas TV and Dubai Racing lack of it.
Okay.
Yes. Well, we do Tomo TV. Just quickly, I have a final point from one gentleman over here. Sir, your comment.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Michel, and I'm the commercial director for Diwan Videos, the company that connected Lujain Amran to the festival. Actually, I want to thank Lara because she was so brave to take the decision to go into social media. And thanks to that, now the festival is well known across the GCC and the world. So thank you, Lara.
Well said, big fella. You are good. And Lara, well done. Final question from this gentleman, sir.
السلام عليكم. بالنسبة لقناة ياس ليه ما فيش
pourquoi il n'y a pas de participation des différents médias sociaux avant l'événement sportif, avant chaque compétition. Alors ma question est suivante, pourquoi n'y a-t-il pas de médias sociaux qui viennent à la veille de l'événement sportif pour poser des questions?
Ivan, elle nous parle d'un programme sur Yas TV qui s'appelle Al-Farad.
Covers all the details that comes after the race, during the race and after the race. I would like to ask the gentleman, is he watching that program on Yas TV?
He does, but he's just making his comment, and I agree. You two do so much, but the build-up, he's comparing the Dubai World Cup to our race, the Sheikh Zayed race. Don't worry, we will build it up even more because it's the richest in the world. Are you going to come in? Do you want to say something? Come on, just tell us what you would like to say.
أول شيء السلام عليكم. عفوا منو اللي سأل السؤال؟ لا مو بنته.
Alors, qui va poser la question? Alors, premièrement, il y a un programme qui s'intitule Jockey et qui s'intéresse à toutes les compétitions et la plupart des entraîneurs et des gens intéressés peuvent poursuivre ces émissions et je reçois toujours leurs commentaires et je fais cela bien sûr donc chaque mercredi et toute personne donc peut vérifier ce que je dis. Il est vrai que l'accent mis sur les programmes d'endurance peut donc porter préjudice aux autres types. Ce que je peux dire, c'est que tout ce que nous faisons dans notre programme est au profit donc de ce sport et nous comptons bien sûr développer nos compétences et nos performances. Nous n'allons pas nous contenter uniquement des courses d'endurance, mais aussi des courses de vitesse, et ce afin que tout le monde puisse aimer ce sport et afin bien sûr d'élargir.
Yas TV, where are you going? You're live on Yas TV. We have run out of time. Hang on, what are you saying, Lara? Just say more.
We hope that Dubai Racing and Yas TV, which is our strategic partner, gives us more attention for the Jewel Crown, because we never had this attention at all, and it is the world's richest pure Arabian horse race. So from this conference in the workshop, we need full 1 week talking about every specific horse, every single event, talking about Abu Dhabi, talking about Al Ain, talking about the importance of one world, 6 continents, Abu Dhabi, the capital of the world for Arabian racing.
Lara Sawaya, well done, and a big round of applause to this incredible top table. Brilliant, absolutely superb. Well, now let's go live to the lady we've just been talking to, and good old Yas TV, the best TV station in the world. You're on live. Kick on. Well done.